Welcome back to the Medium Cool Show. Today, we're going to be talking about
a film?
Longlegs.
He'll kill. And kill again.
Little known film by Anthony Perkins' son.
Longlegs, written and directed by Osgood Perkins. You may know him. This film right now is like the highest grossing horror film from Neon.
Really?
Yeah, and it's biting at the feet of Parasite, highest grossing Neon films.
Damn.
Osgood Perkins is a guy that I've been following the past several years.
Yeah, I think he has a very special place in our heart because of when we watched his last movie.
Yeah, Gretel and Hansel, underrated horror film and original adaptation of the classic story of Hansel and Gretel. And also, I actually knew about him and I saw one of his films in college called All the Pretty Things That Live in This House, which is a super duper looper low budge horror film where it just takes place all in this one house.
Uh-huh.
The intro title credit sequence is so cool. It's like really, really interesting, and it's like it's just like a really dope title sequence that he has in the movie that I've never really seen before, and it's very ominous.
Mm-hmm.
He has this sort of atmospheric, ominous style to him that he has a very, very keen aesthetic sensibility.
Oh, for sure. He's got such a good eye when it comes to framing and composition and vibe.
Yeah, overall atmosphere. It's really like it's refreshing to see, because sometimes I feel as if a lot of horror directors, they don't have sometimes it's like a horror movie but it doesn't look like a horror movie. It's like super digital or some shit like that.
Yeah.
When it comes to, first of all, Gretel and Hansel.
Yeah.
That movie is shot so beautiful. The vibe is so cool, and it's so creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And the witch in that was so well done.
Yeah.
It was so it was so scary and creepy.
Yeah.
Just looking at her was like really creepy, like that makeup and just the way that just the image is creepy, and it's like hard to look at. Like I get scared just looking at the picture of it.
Yeah, I remember it in the sense where it's like a lot of the framing and colors in that movie really stood out to me, where I'm like, this person's making a horror movie, but he's making it in such a stylistic way that he knows what he wants and he knows how to execute that to aid the horror, not to detract from the horror.
No, definitely not. It's definitely like some of that's like the high point of everything he does, and he has like sort of this mystical supernatural quality to all of his films. But going back to The Witch and Hansel and Gretel, like that, just the makeup on that looks so fucking scary, and I think that transfers over to this film, because in this one we have Nicolas Cage playing the titular character, and he looks so fucking creepy in this.
He just looks so like he's uncomfortable, dude, and the way they reveal him over the course of the film is so well done.
Yeah.
You're like, holy shit. And like, just that first scene where you just see like this down, so good. That just, that set the vibe. Yeah. And the one by one composition too.
Yeah.
I fucking love that, dude.
Yeah,
the vibe in this movie is 10 out of 10.
Yeah, the makeup, like that's what was it's like that's going to be the villain of the horror movie. That's going to kind of have to be like it's a really important part, and I feel like with the approach with this, as well as Hansel and Gretel, is a very original looking character. Like I don't really know anyone. They did such a good job at creating the actual look and aesthetic of the villain in the film.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say too, like Hansel and Gretel is one of those movies that really stuck with me, not only because of how good it was, how much it stood out, but it was also one of the last films we saw together in theaters before COVID shut a lot of theaters down. That being like the last one that I sat with for a while, my last theater experience, I was kind of percolating on it. I was Osgood percolating on it, if you would.
Fuck yeah, you were.
And then this came out, and I was really pumped for this.
Yeah.
I do have some complaints, but overall, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. For me, I'm comparing it to the year we've had so far with horror films, which has been a pretty good year.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked The First Omen. I really liked Maxine. And now I have Longlegs, which they're all like, I feel like they're all great horror films for movies coming out. Like they've been like the biggest surprises for me. And I think going into Longlegs, I just kept like hearing people about it. Like there's definitely criticisms about it, but I just felt like this movie was something that I was looking forward to. And it's like, this is like a kind of an art house underground film. Like I'm not surprised that people maybe don't like it. And I just felt like it was going to be for me. And like, I'm like one of the only people who are going to go and see this movie. Yet it kind of blew up.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like a mainstream sort of horror film, and in a way now because it's like a box office hit.
It is,
you know,
and everyone that I've talked to that has seen it has loved it.
Yeah,
me and Hannah are like the only.
And my brother
and your brother loved it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, so like your brother, me, Hannah, like a couple of our other friends.
Yeah,
we all kind of had the same critique of it, which is that. You know, you go into it expecting one thing. And I should have known with Osgood Perkins that it's going to be horror. And it's going to get into the supernatural. But I genuinely thought I was going in for a more grounded serial killer movie.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And so when it flips it on its head and it starts getting more mystical and more supernatural, I felt a little bit betrayed. But that was my own expectation going in.
Yeah.
You know? And by the ending, I just didn't like the ending. I couldn't do that because after Nicolas Cage's character disappears, that last third half, I just didn't like as much as the rest of the movie because it boils down to the devil made him do it, which to me is like, I felt like the story deserves more justice than that kind of cop-out. That's how I felt. Yeah. But a lot of people liked how it went that direction.
Yeah,
I get that.
You didn't like the explanation of what was happening.
No.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was, because I thought it was pretty dope. And I felt like there was a lot of supernatural plants in the beginning, because there was a lot of psychic shit going on in the beginning. I'm like, oh, okay. But I was kind of like, I did not know. I thought it was very unpredictable, which is a good thing. I did not think that was going to happen in the movie, and I felt like there was a good build up and just the overall, just like the story was. It was really intriguing in the beginning, and I get what you're saying if you're going into it with that, but I did kind of feel like it was going to be a supernatural thing. 'Cause I just saw the psychic hints. There's definitely a connection, and it's like how can she, like, and even in the beginning. She finds a suspect without even having any evidence.
I love that scene, dude.
Know?
I love that scene where she just looks up at the house.
Yeah.
And, like, she's like, I know it's this house.
Yeah.
And, like, just that framing, that's what I mean. Like, just that framing, it's so symmetrical, but it's so unsettling, too.
Yeah.
And, like, he just knows how to, like, portray that very, very well.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's so, like, the backstory is so good, and it's so weaved in so well with the actual story and what's happening, because in the beginning when she's talking to her mom, when she calls the mom, I just feel like that was going to be just like giving more character to the main girl, which it does, but also it's like
you look back on it,
you're just like, okay, this is that whole, the mom becomes so much more involved, and you just feel like in the beginning it's just like, oh, it's a girl who's estranged from her family because she's too involved with her job. Yeah. You know, but really it's like way more than that. That's such a tight woven thing that kind of escalates. And I would have never known that the mom was going to be involved with the film. That's like what I was thinking. And then Nicolas Cage, like you said, the build up and not showing the character was like really well done. He's super duper creepy.
He's so creepy. There are a few times where Nicolas Cage like comes out, but he doesn't detract from the character.
Yeah.
And he really falls into this character. This character is like very believable that he would have like Cageisms, if you would, you know?
Yeah, this is the scariest horror film I've seen this year.
That's good. That's good.
And and the reason why, it's just because they do such a good job of like silence. Like there's a whole sequence where it's just her in this lonely cabin in Oregon.
Yeah.
And there's no like jump scares, but there's just like huge sense of dread. And I'm so scared. I was
know,
so
dude.
scared, dude.
Just the framing
Yeah.
of that scene where she's talking to her mom. It's shot from outside the window.
Yeah.
You can see the kitchen in the background with
dude.
other doors.
Yeah.
And you're like, bro, something's going to happen in the background. Just that sense of dread.
Yeah.
But nothing happens. It's just that the potential of it. And he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know, that's what makes this so good.
And the dolls were super creepy.
Oh my god.
The dolls were really creepy.
Yeah.
In this picture.
I kind of want to rewatch it because apparently, if you look closely, there's a lot of like imagery in the background of like the devil and the shadow of like the devil with horns and things like that in the background that like you can catch on a rewatch.
Yeah, I will say the structure of the film is pretty basic because it's like set up the mystery, third act explanation, flashback.
Mm-hmm.
Resolution, climax resolution, you know, which we kind of seen like a lot. Like that's kind of like what Barbarian is.
Yeah.
You know, but this one, it just has an aesthetic brilliance to it.
It really does.
And I think it deserves its success, and it makes me happy that people are seeing this movie. And that's like the whole thing about horror films is that you don't need. I mean, obviously Nicolas Cage is in it, and that was a little bit of a marketing tool, but I feel like with horror films, you can make it with no big actors, and it can still be like a hit.
Yeah, dude, Monroe, dude, fucking queen of independent horror films that just slap. It Follows.
Oh,
this, you know?
No way.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
it's just super duper creepy, dude.
Yeah.
It was really creepy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think it's cool that people want to go see it in movies, you know, like in the theater, which is like hopeful and shit. And
yeah,
I'm definitely going to be seeing the next Osgood Perkins film, which is going to be with Theo James.
Ooh, dude, that's going to be sick.
Theo James, and it's a Stephen King adaptation.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. He's definitely like on my radar. He's like coming up as.
Yeah. And it's Anthony Perkins' son.
Yeah.
It's crazy too, because it's like, does he get it? Because Anthony Perkins is just an actor.
He's just an actor, dude. But he's just a talented director.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's got it.
Yeah. I wonder where his inspiration comes from, where he gets it from.
It'll be interesting.
Because he's a musician.